Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is my Forbes colleague, staff writer Zach Everson. Zach, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me back to continue talking about how the Trump sons have really gone all out to enrich themselves this term.
It's surprising. I feel like you are now our de facto crypto reporter because most of our conversations within the past couple of months, when it comes to money and politics, revolve around crypto. And World Liberty Financial is the crypto venture that's associated with the Trump family. They made some moves this week, but before we get into what that action is, talk to us about the relationship between the Trumps and World Liberty Financial.
So, World Liberty Financial is a decentralized finance instrument where it basically buying its tokens doesn't convey any sort of ownership whatsoever. It just allows the people who are buying them to be able to vote on matters that concern the platform. Now, the Trumps are co-founders of this. Donald Trump is listed as co-founder emeritus on the website. Don Jr., Eric, and Barron are all listed as co-founders. If you follow any them on social media, especially Eric, you'll see that he is very enthusiastic about this particular project.
And so then let's bring it up to this week. A digital token launched by World Liberty Financial made its market debut. How's it going?
It's going great for some people, not so great for others. So the token, which again does not convey any sort of ownership, just the ability to vote on matters concerning World Liberty Financial's protocol, had been sold privately previously. The first round, it was for a penny and a half per token. Later round was 5 cents. Originally, it was non-transferable. One of those things that they voted on, though, was to allow it to be transferable. So beginning on Monday, people who had participated in those first two rounds, namely who bought it for a penny and a half or 5 cents, were able to sell up to 20% of their holdings. It hit the market pretty quickly, went to over 30 cents. It is now down to less than 16 cents, though. So if you're one of those people who bought it early for the penny and a half and the 5 cents, just by selling your 20% that you were able to, could have easily made all your money back. If you're a retail investor who bought it later, you could certainly be down a sizable chunk right now.
The members of the Trump family, though, historically within the past couple of months, have been getting rich from crypto. I want to read some headlines from our colleagues. This was back in June. Our colleague reported how Barron Trump may have earned $40 million from his dad's crypto venture. Also this week, our colleagues reported that Eric Trump became a billionaire because of crypto. How did they profit, if at all, from this token being traded publicly?
So they have not sold any of their tokens yet. They're all supposed to be locked up. People who were founders of the company, including the Trumps, theirs are all locked up at this time. Now, at some point, they will be unlocked most likely. There's talk about what to do with the 80%. At some point, they're going to hold a vote to it. What this did was give them a paper profit where the market has assigned a value to those tokens. The Trumps own somewhere around 22.5 billion tokens. They have a value for that. The other thing is they do receive cuts of transactions, though, that World Liberty Financial is trading hands. So they can certainly profit off that way as well.
I'm curious, what is the draw for people to buy these tokens? Is the only draw specifically that the Trumps are associated with these? And then when they sell them, is there no draw anymore? I mean, what does that really look like?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that makes it so difficult to value what their holding is worth, because if they were to start dumping it, most likely the market would just plummet, because the appeal of it right now is that you are connected to the president, to his family. And if that were to no longer be the case, it would probably plummet. So very similar to True Social stock, Trump Media, some of those other ventures they're involved in as well, whereas they have a lot of paper holdings right there. But if they were to sell it, they would not get anywhere near what the value appears to be on paper, because it would just create a market run.
And we know the Trump sons are very bullish when it comes to crypto. And we saw President Trump do a 180, as you and I have discussed at length on crypto. In his first term, he said it was the value is highly volatile and based on thin air. Now he's vowing to be the country's first crypto president. I mean, how much has he profited personally from crypto?
Yeah, it's a great point. He went from saying it's thin air to realizing, like, hey, if you can make money out of thin air, why not do it? He's currently we have him worth at about $6 billion right now. That is up from earlier we had him in the 2 to 3 range. Most of that is money that's tied up in True Social, where Trump Media rather, which at this point Trump Media is also basically a Bitcoin company with a social media side gig. It invested heavily in a crypto treasury, and when you're buying into Trump Media, you're buying into that as well. So it's really difficult to break it down into how much is crypto, but it is a sizable chunk of his value right now is held up in crypto holdings.
And going off that point, I mean, he made a complete left turn when it comes to crypto. Now he's saying he's the first crypto president. He also, as you're reporting, has profited off of crypto tremendously, has room to profit still off crypto tremendously. What are the ethical concerns here?
The White House has told me repeatedly that the president can't have any conflicts of interest, which on some level is true. Conflict of interest laws that apply to other members of government don't apply to the president. Um, yeah, it's the market doesn't seem to particularly care. Voters don't seem to particularly care. The fact that he had conflicts like this has been apparent for years throughout his first term. They weren't necessarily as egregious as they are now, but voters decided they wanted to reelect Donald Trump. So here we are.
And what specifically are you looking out for next when it pertains to this story surrounding the tokens and World Liberty Financial? Are you looking for when the Trump family's tokens are unlocked?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the thing that I'm really paying attention to. Looking to see if they float that idea. Now, if they do come up when they do look at putting forth proposals for owners of this protocol to vote on, they'll first put it in there. They have a message forum. Anybody can post in there. You don't actually have to be a holder to do it, though. But they will float the idea there. They'll get some feedback, and then they would put it up for a vote on some third-party website. So I'm, monitoring the message boards to see if they come up with any sort of language, that they are looking at this idea.
Well, there's certainly a lot to look out for, per usual. But, Zach, I always appreciate you breaking it down for me and making sense of what exactly is happening in the crypto space as it relates to politics. Zach Everson, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure. Sure, we'll be discussing more later.